Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. We're going to quickly jump into CoinGecko here. We're currently sitting at a $1.69 trillion market cap, currently down 4.8%. Looking at the top 10 here, Bitcoin sitting at 35,156, Ethereum sitting at 2,416, Tether is Tether, Binance Coin sitting at 359, Cardano sitting at $1.07, Solana sitting at 94.62, XRP sitting at 60 cents, Terra sitting at 62.93, DOT sitting at 18.32. So as you can see in the past hour, there's some positive, some green coming out of it. People obviously, kind of accumulating at these zones, but we're still seeing, red and a lot of blood in our market. Coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're still currently sitting at a 13. As you can see, the past couple, few weeks, we've been in the fear and extreme fear range, and there's been a lot of, FUD and fear that's going on in the market. And there's a lot of reasons of why that's happening. One of the big ones is looking at the other markets. You have the S&P 500 that's down. You have the NASDAQ that's down. And a whole bunch of, FUD and fearful articles that are coming out. Then you have articles like this, Bitcoin falls below 35,000 and sell off near 50% from record high. So that's from a lot of reasons. So you have inflation. Fed Chair Powell says rate hikes, tighter policy will need to control inflation. So that uncertainty there on what Jerome Powell and the Fed are going to do in regards to combat inflation. How many times are they going to raise the interest rates, and how high are they going to raise the interest rates? And then you also have stuff like this. You have the oversight meeting when it comes to the ESG and Bitcoin mining, and articles like this. The Omicron and how that's affected our markets. So coming over here, it says Bitcoin falls below 35,000 and sells off near 50% from record high. Bitcoin fell below 35,000 on Saturday morning to its lowest level since July, as a sell-off continues in which the cryptocurrency has fallen almost 50% since its record high in November. Bitcoin reached a low of 34.20 around 5:15 a.m. according to CoinGecko, before rebounding to 34,614 at 12:58, bringing its decline 9.9% over the past 24 hours. Since it touched a record high of 69,000 in November, the leading cryptocurrency has lost more than 600 billion in market cap value. Other top digital currencies have continued their recent swoon, with Ethereum off 13.3 over the past 24 hours and Binance Coin down 15.2% according to CoinGecko. So, like I said, that's from a lot of what's going on within the regular market and what's going on in our day-to-day lives. But another massive part of it is just the liquidations. These traders are getting set up, especially these longs. These longs, as you can see, are getting massively set up and liquidated. Over the past 2 days, there's been over 2 billion in liquidations, in long liquidations. So these traders are trying to, time the market, whether they're trying to time the market or, overcompensate for some losses or whatever the case is, they're overextending themselves, and these leverage platforms allows them to trade on leverage. They're getting wrecked, which then in turn affects the market. These longs are just getting destroyed. And look at the longs compared to the shorts. So as you can see here, just within the past hour, 2.31 million, and this is on all liquidations. 4 hour, 30.79 million. 12 hour, 163.95 million. 24 hour, that's 664 million. I mean, this is massive, and this is affecting our markets, and that's why we see where our market's at. And Blockworks even tweeted it saying 2 billion crypto liquidations in the last 7 days, which is massive. So there's, like I said, there's a lot of fear, not only in our markets but in all markets. A lot of these hedge funds and these bigger institutions and these bigger investing players are trying to time and figure out what's going on. A lot of them are scared, so they're liquidating their money or trying to get into safer assets or trying to have some dry powder on the sidelines, as they say. But then again, it's like they're trying to figure out, okay, what is Jerome and the Fed going to do? How is, what's our next move in regards of our economy? Are we going to have health in our market so where our money is safe? That's kind of how things are being viewed. And now in our market, we have a lot of retail investors that, invested in the said called top when Bitcoin was at, 69,000. So a lot of them got, feared and flooded out of the market. So they, panic sold their stuff. So that's why we have a lot of fear. I mean, there's a bunch of other reasons why, but with that being said, I wanted to come over here. Pomp had put up a YouTube video that I thought was powerful, and I just wanted to play a little segment here that he had played. So we're going to take a listen in on this.
Now, one of the things that I'm personally very interested in is the idea that Bitcoin specifically is a volatile asset in US dollar terms. We saw over 6 different times in 2021 where Bitcoin drew down more than 20%. There was a 50% drawdown in Bitcoin's price in 2018. There's a 50% drawdown in Bitcoin's price in 2020. There's a 50% drawdown in Bitcoin's price in 2021. And now that we're seeing a sell-off of Bitcoin in 2022, just understand this is not new. You don't have to panic. You don't have to freak out. What you do have to understand, though, is exactly how this asset performs and understand as best you can as to why it's performing the way that it is. A lot of folks over the last 2 years or so that previously didn't hold Bitcoin, that work at large Wall Street institutions or the institutions or organizations themselves, they started to adopt Bitcoin, started to buy it, and they thought that they were long-term holders. But they treat the asset like a risk asset. And so as they fear the Fed's interest rate hikes, that cheap capital will become more expensive in the market, and that some of the unleashed demand will actually dry up a little bit, they start to sell those risk assets. They rotate their capital from risk on to risk off. They want the value stocks. They want the value investing. They want the conservative investments. They want to risk mitigate. And so if you're on Wall Street, if you're an institution, if you're a large asset manager, Bitcoin to you is the most risky thing you own. You're a seller. You're not trying to hold it. You simply treat it like a growth stock or a tech stock. But Bitcoiners, those are, in my opinion, the most important people, because we just hit an all-time high in Bitcoin holders that have a Bitcoin address with a balance of at least 0.01 Bitcoin. It's an all-time high. Bitcoin miners, the hash rate just hit an all-time high. The underlying fundamentals, the Bitcoin natives, they're undeterred by the price movement. In fact, they're continuing to stack sats. They're continuing to secure the network. And ultimately what we have price completely diverging from reality of the Bitcoin fundamentals. And over a long enough period of time, price and fundamentals have to meet again. The question is just what's going to happen between now and then, and how long will that take? So I hope that you guys...
So I just wanted to throw that in there. I thought it was cool how he kind of laid it out like that, just to kind of give you a different lens and perspective on, instead of just looking at the market on the surface level, seeing all the negativity and what's going on, but just really peeling back those layers and really see what's going on behind the scenes. Like there's still, miners still holding strong, still, powering the network, like he said. You got still those big, the big industry players within the space that understand, where our future is headed. And what is our future? They're continuing to accumulate, and then you still have, all the adoption that's happening. Obviously, we talked about, Walmart and, Nike and all these big companies and corporations that's getting into the metaverse, NFTs. You have DeFi, a layer ones, a layer twos, and all this stuff that's happening. The surface level stuff is literally minuscule. Yes, it does hurt in the moment, but like if you really zoom out and take a look at kind of what's happening, it's really not that big of a deal, and it's not like we haven't been here before. Now, if you're new to the market, obviously you're experiencing this for the first time, but just educate yourself, like he says. Educate yourself and see what this market is really about, and what does our ebbs and flows look like within this market. So now some more positives. You're coming over here. You have El Salvador buys its cheapest 410 Bitcoin as prices reach 36,000. President Nayib Bukele confirmed that the purchase of 410 Bitcoin was made against 15 million, placing the trading price at approximately 36,585 per Bitcoin. So El Salvador accumulate more Bitcoin. They see the writing on the wall. More positives. You come over here, you got Blockworks, and this is Jack Dorsey from Twitter. He says, building a Bitcoin wallet. B-Trust $500 500 Bitcoin fund launches BTC legal fund, integrates Bitcoin tips on Twitter, integrates Lightning on Cash App, launching open BTC mining system, launching decentralized BTC exchange. What's next, Jack? So, Jack Dorsey, really going full steam ahead with, this whole blockchain crypto space. So over here, I thought this was a good tweet by, I think it's Molly Spires. I've hodled from 248 to 20,000. To 3,000 to 63K, to 29,000 to 69K, to 35,000, and I'm going to keep holding. So that's just, if you're new in here and you're watching this video, this is somebody that's literally been investing for years and years, really going through the ebbs and flows, the good and the bad within the market, holding strong, because obviously she has high conviction on the space. So also coming over here, we have Cameron Winklevoss. It says this: if you didn't invest in Bitcoin because you missed it at 35,000, you just been given another bite at the apple. Don't make the same mistake again. So I think that is absolutely massive, because this is something personally that I've dealt with back in 2020. There was a project that I really wanted to invest in, and it ended up just shooting off and taking off. But then whenever we got hit with our first, big crash or big dip within our market when it comes to the ebbs and flows, I was able to accumulate that, and I made sure that, like, hey, I didn't miss that train again. So this is massive. If you really feel like you missed Bitcoin or your favorite project, and this is a great opportunity and you have the means to do so, obviously never financial advice, but, if I were you, and it's just my personal opinion, I would accumulate, because if you have high conviction on that project or that token, there you go. Coming over here, Blockworks. So we were talking about zooming out, really not looking at just the surface level stuff. So then you come over here, this is days. This is what you see, just craziness, right? Ups and downs. Years, a little bit, and then decades. Zooming out. So obviously, even me, when I hear decades, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to have a specific allocation towards, the long term. But it's like, I still, want to make, good money here. I want to invest my money now to where I can, pull a nice profit, within the next couple of years or months or whatever cases. So, when you do see this, like I say, I understand it's overwhelming. Like, okay, yeah, I don't want to wait decades, but it's like, okay, well, have a specific, a portion of your portfolio allocated for the decades. Because then when you really zoom out, you see like, hey, we're so early. We're sitting at a $1.69 trillion market cap. So it's just a matter of time until we get to where Kathy Wood and ARK Invest, where they're saying crypto assets will be worth 40 trillion by 2030. 40 trillion. I'm going to keep emphasizing this. That's over a 2x from where we're at today. We are so early to the party. And with all the fear and FUD that's in the market, this is merely interesting. It's literally going to be a blimp on our radar in the grand scheme of things. It's not like we haven't been here before. The crypto market, it's almost sickening to say, but it's literally like routine for us in the crypto market. So just see it as another opportunity. If you have the means to do so, continue to keep your head in, educate yourself, follow your favorite projects, have high conviction on the space. And that's pretty much what we're going to do. Continue to accumulate what we can, hold strong, and ride this thing out. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.